For months, I thought I knew the man next door. The problem is, I almost never actually saw him come home. That was the first mistake. 3 years ago, my partner and I bought our first home. It was small, nothing special, but it was ours. The neighbors were easy, quiet, the kind of people who made a street feel settled. So when they decided to move away, we did something that felt smart at the time. We bought their house too. It was bigger, a driveway, a garage. Things we didn't really need, but convinced ourselves we did. And the old house, the one we had just left, went up for sale right next door. For a while, it felt perfect. We could see both houses from the kitchen window. We knew every sound those walls made. When the new buyers arrived, they seemed normal. A Polish couple, polite, reserved. They spoke to us in English, even when we spoke Dutch. I noticed it. Then I stopped thinking about it. At first, nothing happened. Then, small things started slipping. Sometimes after midnight, there would be a sound through the wall. Not a bang, something heavier, like weight shifting where it shouldn't be. Then silence. Other nights, music. Too loud, too sudden, just a burst of it. Gone before you were fully awake. By morning, nothing. Curtains closed. No apology. No sign anyone had been up at all. But the strange part wasn't the noise. It was him. We almost never saw him. The wife sometimes. Quick, head down, in and out. But him, I saw his car. All the time. I just never saw it arrive. At first, that didn't mean anything. You don't watch your neighbors that closely. But then it started to bother me. The car would be gone. And later, it would just be there, parked neatly, like it had always been. One afternoon, I passed it while walking my dog. The hood was still warm. I stopped, looked at the house. No door opened, no movement behind the windows, just the car, sitting there. Like I had missed something I shouldn't have. A few weeks later, the car changed. Both sides were scraped, badly. Not the kind of damage you explain away with a mistake. It looked even. Like the car had been forced through something too narrow. We asked him about it. He smiled, said something about a concrete pole and a trailer, one on each side. We nodded, went inside, and didn't bring it up again. But after that, I started noticing more. Not on purpose, just without deciding to. Lights turning on for a minute, then gone for hours. The hallway light glowing under the front door at 3 in the morning. But no one leaving, no one arriving. The house always felt occupied. I just couldn't figure out how. Then one evening, just after 6, he called us. His voice was shaking. He said there were people outside, said they were touching the cameras, asked us to look, so we did. 2 men stood in front of the house, not rushing, not hiding. One of them reached up and slowly turned a camera away, like he didn't care who saw him. We called the police. They took 20 minutes. By the time they arrived, the men were gone. The wife got there first. She stopped too fast, left the car door open, ran inside calling for the dog. Only the dog. While all of this was happening, I was walking mine. 3 streets away, I saw him. He was parking his car, stepped out, closed the door quietly, then started walking back toward the house. No hurry, no panic, like nothing was wrong. That was the first moment something really didn't feel right. Later, we checked the footage. The 2 men had been there before anything happened, standing close to the door, talking calmly in Polish. At first, it sounded like they were deciding something. Then one of them stopped. He turned his head, slightly, toward the edge of the frame, where nothing was. He listened, then nodded, and they moved. Nothing was stolen. That's what the police said. Nothing missing. The house looked disturbed, but not searched. A week later, it escalated. I heard the engine first, low, then louder, then too loud. The car came through the front garden, straight into the door. 2 men were already there, loading electronics into the back, clean, stacked, like they'd been waiting. This time the police came fast. They pulled one of the men out. He said something then, in perfect Dutch. He said he lived there. No one responded. They dragged another man out from inside, and then our neighbor came to our door. His face was swollen, blood along his mouth, one eye nearly closed. He didn't want help, didn't want the police. He kept looking past us, toward the street, like something might still be there. Later, he tried to explain, but the story didn't stay still long enough to follow. That night around 1 in the morning, he came back. I saw him through the window, crouched behind our cars, staying low. When his wife's car turned onto the street, he stepped out. She stopped, got out, and started crying. Not loud, not sudden, like it had already been happening for a long time. They got into the car and drove away. We never saw him again. A few days later, she came back alone, stood in our doorway, said she would probably never see her husband again. Then she left. That night I woke up. The street was too quiet. No wind, no distant cars, nothing. I went to the window. She was parked outside the old house, engine off, lights off, just sitting there, not moving. After a while, she turned her head toward the passenger seat and spoke, softly, like someone was listening. The seat was empty. She kept talking, then she stopped and nodded once. That was the part that stayed with me, the nod. The next morning, her car was gone. The curtains in the old house were half open. The front room light was on. I stood in the kitchen for a long time, looking at both houses. I used to wonder where he went at night. Now I'm not even sure that was the right question, because sometimes, late at night, when the wall goes quiet, I still hear something from the other side. Not loud, just enough to know it's still there. And I can't shake the feeling that for a while something was living in that house, close enough to hear, close enough to answer, but never fully there.